Let's go. So we're going to break down this Arkansas Razorback team. Comment down below, which side of the football are you more concerned about as LSU looks to keep the golden boot. Now, we're actually going to take a look at Arkansas special teams, and in the background, you're looking at Isaiah Satania, okay? Now, before we actually do this punt return, this is arguably the fastest man in college football, was according to RA Analytics this last week. You see him house a very impressive punt return. He wasn't even touched here, and his speed is elite. He is actually the son of two pretty good LSU sprinters from back in the day, and yeah, he's an LSU legacy. LSU was interested in him, but he decided to stay home at Arkansas from Fayetteville High School. So a really, really special player when the football is in his hands. He hadn't really got going as a wide receiver, but I do think Arkansas's lack of skill position players to the outside could lead them to getting him more touches on the offensive side of the football. So LSU special teams up to this point has been really freaking good, but I do not think Isaiah Satania is the most dangerous return guy in this game. And that return guy is actually KALEB Jackson. Now, don't forget, no pregame show this weekend. We will be in Baton Rouge. I will be at the Greek Amphitheater by noon on Saturday, just hanging out with all of you. So we're looking forward to that, okay? Now, you guys saw a film study not too long ago we did on KALEB Jackson, and I think the biggest play on the season for him would have been the kickoff return versus Grambling, but his own guy tackled him. If you want to see that film study breakdown of that play, it is floating in the top right corner of your screen, okay? So I really do think KALEB Jackson's going to be able to house one of these kickoff returns pretty freaking soon. He definitely has the explosiveness. Let's talk about Arkansas special teams coordinator, Scott Fountain, okay? I know a lot of you are interested in coaching journeys. This is a guy who has coached pretty much everywhere in the SEC, and he's been Arkansas special teams coordinator since 2020. The one unit that has been consistently bad for him has been kickoff return, right? They have not finished better than 9th in the SEC in those 4 seasons, and right now they are 13th in kickoff return yardage, okay? So, very interesting return by BYU. They're setting up like this is a kick return to the right, but it's actually a kick return to the left, and you'll see right here, look at all these players for Arkansas on this side, and guess what? They're actually returning this to the left. A really well-designed kickoff return. This is actually Arkansas's best wide receiver on kickoff return unit, one of their best linebackers right here, and they get some really good field position. I think a player like KALEB Jackson could potentially get this sideline and house it. Alrighty, so let's talk about this Arkansas defense. This is a really talented group, okay? Loaded with players from the transfer portal. So these are your 2 LSU transfers right here, Landon Jackson and Dwight McGlothern. This was a player who ate LSU up last year with blitzes. We're going to talk about this. Right here, they are running counter, and they actually blocked this to perfection. The one thing about Arkansas's defense, and LSU will see this on film, is they love to get downhill. Okay, 13, the backside safety made a terrible angle for this tackle, and it opened itself up for an explosive running play. Number 27 reminds you a little bit of Josh Williams here. So Arkansas's defense, up to this point, opponent-adjusted EPA per play, they're actually a top 5 defense in all of college football through 3 weeks, okay? Where I think you can beat them, okay, counter a little bit of a misdirection play, I think you can really get this defense on something called what I'm just going to call this a leak play. And what I mean by a leak play, it's thinking the ball is going to go one way, but it's actually going to go another, okay? Remember I told you about A-gap blitzes? They killed us with blitzes last year. So Charles Turner and Miles Frazier in particular, it's going to need to be a big game because we struggled blocking them up the middle. So you see right here, 2 things happen, all right? The first here is BYU is running a go, all right? So you think the ball is potentially going to the vertical, but it's not. Then Keaton Slovis says, oh no, we're throwing this ball to the flat. So guess what happens? Both these defenders are running down to the flat. But it's actually going to their tight end, Rex, okay? Now, Rex looks like he's blocking at first, but he's actually just leaking. All right, so this is a long developing play. You notice here the protection isn't the cleanest, but no one just flat out got beat. Slovis was patient in the pocket. He finds a little window here to step up into it. And you notice the tight end actually leaked, all right? So you see right here, boom, short block, now you're going upfield, okay? So now Slovis just needs to hit this ball right here, and look at where he puts it. It's right in stride, okay? Almost overshot him, but that's an explosive play, and BYU was able to score and take the lead soon after this. Boom! I'm looking at you. So, I honestly think Arkansas should have won this game. BYU caught a ton of lucky breaks. I won't get into all of them. And overall, on a success rate basis, yard per play basis, Arkansas was just better. They just committed a lot of bad turnovers, and I have never seen in a game more players on their rear ends at the end of pass blocking or run blocking plays. The Arkansas offensive line under Sam Pittman has been atrocious, and I think this is going to be a major game for Mason Smith, Bakai Wingo, and potentially Savion Jones, who had a big game versus Arkansas last year. So you see where KJ Jefferson was trying to go, trying to do the Drew Brees up and down throw, and it was there, but it really wasn't. Linebacker was able to sink and make a really good play. KJ should have hit his check down. But on the play before, the pass rush was essentially the same thing. The Arkansas offensive line were all on their rear ends, and KJ Jefferson got sacked. So this Arkansas OL is forcing KJ to try to do too much. KJ, of course, doesn't need to make a big turnover such as this. But if you're the LSU defense, if I looked at this tape from last week, I would say, look, I know we like to get exotic on 3rd and long and 2nd and long, but let's just see if we can get home with 4. And if you can do that and just play coverage on the back end, you are going to be in really good shape. This Arkansas offensive line is a very experienced one. I don't necessarily think they don't play badly together. They do have some chemistry, but goodness gracious, I mean, you could just see this pocket collapsing, and this was not the worst rep. I did pretty much every rep on the SEC channel as a breakdown. You can see they had a lot of holding penalties in this game, and you can see KJ couldn't really step into that, and it was open. It's just something that's very audacious. If he would have just hit his check down, it would have been a big play. Now, I want you to, right now, all right, we're talking about leak plays, misdirection plays. Just by looking at this formation with a motion defender, slot receiver rolling out here to the left, where do you think this football is going to go? Okay, just give it your best guess, okay? Because this Arkansas defense, they are aggressive. They are taught to read and react. They like to get downhill, and that's why misdirection can work, right? Counter was their big touchdown. You saw the tight end leak. So right here, you get a little play action run to the right. I also like passing on 1st down with play action, right? You get this defense going downhill to the right. Boom. So this play action fake has these defensive linemen fooled. All 3 of these linebackers are fooled right here. And now this contained edge defender, whose I'm guessing job it is to cover the flats. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. He sees that the ball wasn't actually handed off, and look at what happens here. The ball actually went to the original motion wide receiver. Now, why is this difficult? Because you guys have probably seen this 1,000 times in the SEC and just throughout college football. If you're a defender, you're worried about the quarterback just handing the football right here on a quick reverse. So when he doesn't do that, you kind of just forget about this player, right? So he doesn't actually hand it off there. It's a play action fake to the right. Slovis does a really good job slowly working his way back here. And all he's got to do, any quarterback can complete this one right here. Now look at all this green grass. Over-aggressive defense. And guess what? A walk-on is scoring on this, okay? There is no stopping him. And 82 was the one that had that really good kickoff return. So misdirection plays like that, I think can work. Now, LSU's offense really doesn't do that, but there is a glimmer of hope here. So LSU really doesn't run a lot of like leak kind of plays. It's more of like what Kansas and even Lane Kiffin likes to do. And right here is a perfect encapsulation of that. So we're showing a jet sweep to the right, pulling Charles Turner to get some extra flow here to the right side. And Jaden Daniels rolls out to the right. And we really haven't tried to run something like this since this play, okay? I love these kinds of plays because it's just free yardage, all right? Remember the BYU play we just showed you? Look at all this green grass right here. And we'll give you an all-22 angle to show you how wide open this is, okay? Now, this could be practically anyone. It could be Logan Diggs, it could be Josh Williams, whoever you want to bring up. But if you're playing an aggressive defense, those things can very well work. And obviously, sky cam, end zone cam, whatever you want to call it, is always a fun way of looking at it. You're getting a jet sweep motion right here. And I want you just to see how much just this motion, burns this Florida State defense, okay? So another thing about these kind of running back, tight end kind of leak plays, there's so much attention on Jaden's running ability at all times from second-level defenders. And oftentimes those second-level defenders are the ones guarding these tight ends and running backs in these situations. So guess what? Linebacker runs with Mason Taylor, and now we got one of the fastest players on the team with the football in his hands right there. So obviously what LSU did versus Mississippi State, they really didn't do a whole lot of this. It was just Jaden and Malik being freaking ballers. But this, I think, would be here versus a defense like Arkansas.